I just was like, I don't think I'm wrong. I don't think we should be too quick to be secluding ourselves in white spaces because they gonna unfortunately potentially unalive you.
Good God. People on TikTok are actually losing it. Hey guys, welcome back to the show, your home for independent and nonpartisan commentary and analysis on politics, media, and internet insanity. This one is in that latter category, though internet insanity might be an understatement for what we are about to discuss. So there's this video going viral on TikTok from a woman a young black woman who claims to be a cousin of Nolan Wells, the young man, a black man who recently died. Some people believe he was killed by his friends. As of now, just bumping into my microphone, there's not really evidence to suggest that, and his death has not been considered foul play, but people are looking into it, and the whole situation has become a big thing that people have very strong feelings about. But that's actually not what this video is about. This young black woman explains that who claims to be a cousin of Nolan Wells, that she was invited to a wedding for a white friend and declined because she doesn't want to be lynched. Yes, you heard that correctly. I'll just play the video and we'll unpack as we go along. Buckle up, because it's a wild one. Let's watch.
Okay, so recently I was invited to an acquaintance of mine's wedding, and her fiance is white and she's white. And I am such a lover girl. I love love. I love romance. I love all things marriage and relationship building. And I'm like, oh my God, this would be amazing. Because in the black community, we don't have a lot of weddings. We have more baby showers than weddings, but that's not the point. But anyway, so I recently backed down like earlier today because I was like, I gave her like a very generic answer, like I wouldn't be able to make it anymore. And then she was like kind of pressing it. And I was just like, actually, if you want to know the real, I lost a cousin recently and I have had heightened anxiety. I've been super vigilant. I have just been really on edge about everything. And so basically, and then my boyfriend came to me and said, he doesn't really want to go. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to go be out there defenseless by myself. And I got to protect not only myself, I got to protect my man. Because my man is 6'4", he tall, dark, and Lord forbid one of these crackers try to get crazy and then Lord forbid something happened. So anyway, it just makes me think about a homegirl of mine. She was recently invited to a sleepover and they were all white people, and she was like, no, I'm not going. She sent me the screenshot because she knew about what happened with Nolan, my cousin. And anyway, I don't know. I just was like, I don't think I'm wrong. I don't think we should be too quick to be secluding ourselves in white spaces because they gonna unfortunately potentially unalive you. I don't want to be in a boat, on a lake, on an ocean, in the ocean, in the wilderness, by some trees, anywhere that they can potentially do some harm to us. I don't want to be in those spaces or in proximity to any of those spaces because absolutely not. But what's your thoughts? Am I wrong for this?
Yes. Narrator, yes, you are wrong for this. And guys, let me read you this psychotic text she typed out. She wrote, "Sorry, I just have a heightened fear of things and grief. A lot of black people are being lynched and ruled sides, and my boyfriend doesn't want to go. I did want to go, but I'd be alone and unprotected. My cousin Nolan Wells was killed July 4th weekend, and I just don't feel safe around a lot of white people, especially if I'm not super close to anyone or have any allies for real. I truly wanted to celebrate this momentous milestone with you, but just now I have to look out for my welfare because I know how this country is. I apologize for any inconvenience, but I do sincerely appreciate you thinking of me." To which the friend replied, "Aw, girl, prayers your way." I mean, how do you even respond to a psychotic text like that? There's a couple things here that are crazy. One is this idea that a lot of black people are being lynched is just not true. It's just not real. This is a whole social media conspiracy theory. And then two, the fact that her cousin Nolan Wells was killed July 4th weekend is unproven, but she's just taking that as fact when that is, not what the evidence suggests at this point or what authorities believe at this point. So a lot of conspiratorial thinking here. But even if taken at face value and say like, okay, she does believe that her cousin was murdered, therefore she's unsafe around all white people. Oh, that's racist and discriminatory. And this is a wedding. This isn't going out to some remote island with your friends in a boat or some sort of situation where you're going to be all isolated and alone. This is a public event. So this fear just seems totally unsubstantiated. And I would say this as well. I know how this country is. Well, you really don't, because you don't seem at all informed or aware of the statistical realities at play here, which is that most murders, as a matter of statistical fact, happen within races, right? So they happen with people who are of the same race killing each other. So black people are largely killed by other black people, and white people are largely killed by other white people. So to be fearing, just like totally afraid of being around people of a different race because you're going to get killed or lynched or something, is just a terrible way to go through life. Like the idea that anything will happen to you is very statistically unlikely, regardless of what race the wedding is. But you don't even have your fear in the correct direction, right? Because the people most likely to kill you would be members of your own race, just as a matter of statistical fact. Now, I still don't think you should refuse to go to public events because of the race of the people hosting them. But it's like you're not even on the right track in terms of your paranoia and hysteria. And maybe part of this is grief fueled. If Nolan Wells really is her cousin, I mean, then my heart goes out to her. Whatever happened to him, I don't believe it was a murder at this point based on evidence I've seen. But regardless, it's like very tragic. And I'm sure that's very sad and tough for her to deal with. So maybe the grief is pushing this. But it's like, yeah, actually, you are the bad guy in this situation. How would anyone possibly look at this differently if a white person told a black friend that they didn't feel safe because there was going to be too many black people there and they didn't want to get mugged or something? We would all be like, bro, that's incredibly racist. But yet this girl types this out, hits send, and has the confidence to be like, am I even wrong for this? Yes. And it's not just me saying that. That was actually the overwhelming consensus, even on TikTok and even among other black people. So we're going to run through some of the comments on this video because it was absolutely crazy. Somebody wrote, I'm black and you did entirely too much. Why the would you get lynched at a wedding? I'm sorry, but this is a good question. What? It's a wedding. People don't get murdered at weddings. And if they do, they don't get like just the levels of paranoia and delusion. It really do. I mean, it does become a psychosis at some point. Does it not? I mean, I think even most black people would look at this situation and be like, girl, you're crazy for that. And we'll keep going through the comments here. If someone told me they can't go to my wedding because they're scared me or my guests might murder them, I'd literally never talk to them again. And that's true regardless of race. It's like, what are you saying about your friend and her family that you just think they're inherently dangerous and unsafe and sus? Really? That's, again, kind of offensive. And you're casting with a very broad brush. And shouldn't you presumably trust your friends? Or like, why are you close enough with somebody that they're inviting you to their wedding? And yet you also think they're dangerous and might kill you. Like, the math is not mathing here whatsoever. More comments. Somebody said, but if she told you, I don't feel comfortable attending your wedding because I don't trust your friends and family because of the color of their skin, I bet you'd be upset. And you know what? She would be upset. And she would be right to be upset because it's crazy and unfair and inherently discriminatory to draw sweeping conclusions about entire racial groups of people because of the actions of an individual of the same skin color of them, or one particular anecdotal experience you've had or read about on the news. That is the textbook definition of stereotyping and discrimination. But she's like, am I even wrong for this, though? Yes, you are. More comments. Hey, so this is insane. It's them phones, y'all. It really is. This is the most insane thing I've ever read. Black people can't be racist. Okay, then what is this? LMAO. And I would never talk to you again. What? I agree. I would probably not be talking to our friend here again. And I do think that's an interesting point about the phones. There's something about social media that fuels this kind of psychosis because you see anecdotes and experiences that are incredibly rare, but because they're so extreme or because they're such wild stories, they surface to the top of social media bubbles. So you might hear a lot of stories about people's bad experiences or crazy, terrible things that happen to them. And you see that in your TikTok feed served to you, and you become so concerned. You're like, oh my God, all these white people out here doing terrible things to Black people constantly. But it's like, no, it's that thousands upon thousands of normal, uneventful interactions happen every single day, but nobody makes a TikTok about the fact that I'm a Black woman and I went to the grocery store and a sweet old white lady held the door for me and chatted with me nicely. There's not a TikTok there, right? The only story time drama TikTok is when something bad happens. So you see that rise to the surface constantly in your social media feed, and you don't hear about the 99.9% of interactions that are positive or uneventful or really not bad. And then you get this false perception that things are super common and pervasive when they're not. And that's how social media leads you to this kind of psychosis. And then you have to be in some sort of bubble in your real life, because did you not have a friend that you could have asked about this text? Or your boyfriend too? Is he also this delusional? Because you could have talked to him about this and said that he should have been like, girl, that's crazy. Do not hit send on that. Anyway, I found this situation wild, but I was slightly heartened by the fact that so many people across TikTok, which does tend to be like a more woke, more identity politics heavy victim wannabe culture, even on TikTok, most people were not buying this and thought this was delusional and crazy. And even on TikTok, most of the Black people I saw in the comments were like, girl, you did too much with this. This is crazy. And so maybe there's a little bit of hope for us yet, that we are not all totally cooked and fried beyond belief in terms of our brains and the internet into total states of paranoia. But I just wanted to cover this story. It's trending. I thought it was absolutely insane, but hopefully people can see that, and we can help people who go down this crazy path of paranoia realize that it's not justified, and it's not a good way to live your life like this, just in total fear of your surroundings and of people that are different from you and all of this. So, and that absolutely goes in either direction. But you guys will have to let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you're subscribed if you aren't yet. Do hit that like button and consider becoming a channel member. It's the best way to support my work, even though I'm a scary white person, or a cracker, as she might call it. Yeah, do consider becoming a channel member. Hit the join button, click the link in the description. And with that, guys, we'll be back with more real soon.